everybody. I'm Dr. Phil Kidd. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for taking time to sit down and watch this life-changing video. We titled this video, Anti-Bullying and Basic Self-Defense. I was made aware of several years ago that 1 out of every 5 students in our public school system face some level of bullying every day of their life, whether it be in the home, in the community, in the neighborhood, or in the school. We are raising a generation of children that do not know how to act, negotiate, or respond when they are being taken advantage of. After you've concluded watching this video, you will have a better comprehension on what you need to do if somebody is addressing you in a negative way. We have one of the finest instructors in the country that's going to be on in just a few minutes to help me. But until then, we want you to sit back and enjoy this life-changing video. You will never be the same. And my prayer is that you'll pass it on to other people so that they too can understand and learn that it's always right to stand up for yourself. Thank you again for watching this video. God bless you. We're looking forward to being a blessing to you in just a minute. Thank you again for watching our video. This is Dr. Phil Kidd, and I would like to introduce to you not only my personal friend, but one of the best trainers and instructors I've been around. Brother Chris Massey is also my brother in Christ, and he is the founder and the owner and the trainer and the instructor at Stryker Martial Arts in Bristol, Virginia. And I'm so honored to have him working with me on this video. Brother Massey, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I do not take this lightly. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking.
So we're going to get right into the video, and we're going to talk for a few minutes. He has a 4-step concept that has been so awesome that we've taught it to all of our mixed martial arts camps through the years when he's helped train our young people. And I want Brother Massey to walk us through these 4 steps. What do you do when somebody is coming on to you aggressive? Some of you watching this video right now, you don't sleep right, you don't eat right, you've isolated yourself from your friends, and sometimes you even get to the point where you don't want to go to school, you don't want to go out in public, and over 250 young people have now killed themselves because of constant, consistent bullying. But we've got an instructor here that's going to help us. Life-changing stuff is going on right now. Brother Massey, lead us through those 4 points, would you please?
Yes, sir.
What do we do if we're being bullied?
Well, the first thing that we teach our students here at Stryker is that when somebody is being bullied, the most important thing that you have to do is communicate. You have to talk. Most people, when they're being bullied, they shut down. They don't know why it's happening. They're confused.
Yeah.
They may feel like they might have done something wrong or they're going to get in trouble. So we tell them, hey, it's okay. You've got to talk to your parents. You've got to talk to your teachers, your counselors, your pastors at church, your karate instructors. And most importantly, you got to let your friends know what's going on, because we're going to talk about that in a minute. But communication is key. That's the first step of getting help.
Now, do you believe, Brother Massey, when you say communication, you gave us about 5 different opportunities. Should we communicate with every opportunity that we have, or should we do just one? Like if we have good parents, is that enough? Or should we still tell our pastor, still tell our counselor? Is it true that the more we tell, the more effective this might be?
Absolutely. When you talk to your parents, the parents should go straight to the school. Pick the phone up or get in the car and drive to the school and talk to their teachers, their principals, their counselors, everybody, the resource officers at the school.
Yes, definitely.
Because every school nowadays, they've had those on campus for those reasons. And so, you know, we encourage them to tell as many people, to let as many people know about what's going on with them, so they can stop the process, stop what's going on.
Very good point. If that takes place, but yet this seems to advance and maybe even continue, where do we go after we communicate?
Well, teachers can't always be there, and no matter what a teacher or a principal says, it's always going to escalate, or, you know, the bullies are going to be relentless. Bullies they target people who don't have confidence.
That's correct.
They look at people who are easy targets, people who are withdrawn, people who are shy. And what they do is when they bully somebody, they're trying to get a rise out of them. They're trying to get fear out of them. And when they show fear, that fuels their fire. They're
emboldened.
Yes.
I've seen it.
And at that point in time, what you have to do and what we teach our kids, we empower our kids with confidence, self-esteem, and we teach them how to take that power away from them. I always tell my kids, it's like Superman. You know, when a bully throws a word at you, be like Superman. Let that word bounce off of you like a bullet bouncing off Superman. You have a superpower at that point in time. But first thing we teach them is in our 4-step process, number one is to make a stand. So when a bully comes up, and you know, it doesn't always start physical.
That's correct.
But we started at that point for the self-defense aspect. So when a bully comes up and they push, step back, this is what we call our balance step. Because if we don't, we're going to fall down. We step back, hands come up in this position, head high. We don't do this because this is saying, hey, I want to fight. And we say his stern face, look him in the eye, hey, back off, leave me alone. And you make it serious. And at that point in time, I'm actually going to kind of back myself out. Because we tell them the best fight that will ever happen is the one that never happens.
I'm telling you, that's a statement you gave to one of my youth groups, and I've never forgot it. And it's got me out of several fights when there would have been a confrontation. And I'm telling you, Brother Massey, you rang through my head. The best fight you'll ever win is the one you walk away from. You know
exactly.
And I've never forgot that. And I hope all of you will remember, if nothing else, remember that statement. The best fight you'll ever win is the one that you can walk away from. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely. But you know, and we tell them that there's no shame in walking away.
That's right.
Number one, they're not going to get in trouble. Number two, they're not going to get hurt.
That's right.
And you know, it just makes everything easier in their life. But they push, step back, hands up, stern face. Hey, back off. Leave me alone.
Now, is it important the tone of their voice?
Absolutely. The tone of their voice, their body language.
Yes.
Their posture, their facial expression, everything. Because the first thing that's going to happen when we teach this, and I guarantee the people watching this video, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to be a little embarrassed at this.
Yes.
So when they push them, they're going to go, oh, hey, back off, leave me alone. You know.
Right.
The eye contact, the stance, bent knees, hands up, right here, eye to eye. Hey, back off, leave me alone.
Right.
And that sends the message.
I think it speaks volumes, especially if the kid at a normal tone has a softer voice.
Yes.
And the bully knows it. I think as you escalate the voice, hey, back off! You know, you're also letting people around you aware, you know, that something's going on that's not right.
Right.
Just for witness' sake, if that be. So, okay, you put your hands up and you tell me to back off.
Right.
Where do I go from here?
So we're going to get to step number 4 in another segment.
Okay.
But you remember I said you have to talk to your friends.
Yes.
You have to create a strong support group around you. And by the support group, I mean your friends, the ones that's going to be around you more than the teachers. You leave a teacher's classroom, you go to another teacher.
So we're talking about school.
School.
But this would be true in neighborhood as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when you have a support group and you are being bullied or you see another one of your friends being bullied, the second step is to be a buddy, not a bully. So when you see
That's good.
somebody being bullied and you can tell it's getting ready to escalate, all you do is you walk up to your friend in front of the bully, grab them by the arm, by the sleeve, hey, come with me. The teacher needs to see you. And you're walking them out of the situation. You're taking them completely away from that bad situation they're in.
Okay, so this would have to be pre-trained with your friends.
Oh, yes.
That, you know, if I'm getting bullied, you can't just expect them to do that in the spare of the moment. They would have to know, hey, if any of us are getting bullied and you hear me, you know, see me put my hands up, say, hey, get back, leave me alone. Then, you know, you need to know at that time that you need to step in and get them by the hand, say, look, the teacher, the principal, we need to go and get them out of that situation.
Exactly.
So that's something they're going to have to know as that community you were talking about.
As the support group, and what we teach to our students and what we teach in our workshops is teach this to your friends.
Yes.
Create a pact with them. You know, hey, I've got your back if you've got my back. I'm going to empower you to help me. And you've got, you know, if I help you, you got to help me too.
Okay, say I'm in a situation and a bully has come at me. My friend is standing there. I need somebody to get between me and the situation, but my friend, step 3, is too timid or shy themselves to just come in and get me by the arm. So if you see a friend going through this, but you don't feel empowered enough to reach in and say, look, you need to come with me, there's another alternative, step 3, that
Step
you give
3,
us.
go for help.
Get somebody
You're
help.
going to go for help. If you're at school, first open door you're going to walk into. And usually in between classes, teachers are going to be there at the door.
Sure.
So you're going to go up and you say, hey, Miss Johnson, my friend's being bullied, and you're going to take them over. The teacher is immediately going to separate it and take control of the situation. Chances are it's going to, they see a teacher coming, it's gone.
Good thought.
But at the same time, so you've got take a stand, be a buddy, not a bully, go for help.
That's great. Now, a question I wanted to ask you, and maybe you could think about this while you're listening to the video, is in a lot of schools now, and I'm not going to say every one because I don't know if that's true, there are cameras in the hallways and so forth now. So when you report something like this, you've not only got your word, there should be some videotape of just exactly the confrontation that took place.
Absolutely.
Which again would support you if you had to go to the community to get some help. So these are the first 3. We're going to come right back in just a minute and do step number 4, which is very important, and that is, how do you handle yourself when the confrontation is elevating? There's nobody there to defend you. You have no support group. Your friends are gone. There's not a teacher or a principal. Maybe you're out in the neighborhood in somebody's yard and somebody pushes you, and you're now to the point where you have to defend yourself. What do you do to get out of that situation? We'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, everybody. So we tried to show you 3 of the 4 things that you can do if you are experiencing being bullied in your home, in your neighborhood, or in your school. But this is step number 4. Say it aggresses to the point where you have got to defend yourself. The bully is going to make physical contact with you, and you have got to stay your ground. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Brother Massey. I'm going to be the bully, and Brother Massey is going to instruct us and show us at the same time. This is your first line of a defense when you know physical contact has been made. Brother Massey, at this time.
All right. So, when you're talking about physical bullying, that's the one that really scares the kids. Over 60,000 kids on average stay home daily from school.
Now think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 60,000 kids a day in America do not go to school every day because of the problem he's talking about right now. So what do we do, Brother Massey?
Well, when it gets to a confrontation or a physical part, most people, most bullies, they're not trained athletes. They're not trained martial artists. If they were a martial artist,
they wouldn't be doing bullying.
They wouldn't be doing it because of the ethics and the discipline.
Absolutely.
So most people they're not gonna have the techniques. It's going to be wild swings, haymaker type attacks, things of that nature. So when you're in your stand, my heel is off the ground.
Okay, let's do it from the beginning. I'm going to push you, okay? I'm walking up to him. I'm the bully. I'm the aggressor. Now watch this. So I push him back.
I catch my balance. My balance step. My hands come up.
Remember? Open hands.
Open hands. They're at my head. I give him the stern look. Hey, back off. Leave me alone. He aggresses one more time to push me one more time. I step back again. I said, leave me alone. So now I've not only given him 1 verbal warning, I've given him 2. I've given him 2 commands on leave me alone. I don't want this. But when it comes to the punches, our hands are here, so we're going to say immediately in my head, oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to get hit. So when the punches come around, all I'm doing is coming up right there. That's all I'm doing. I'm protecting my head.
See how he's blocking? Just holding the top of his forehead, sliding his arm up and his hand back on the top of his head.
Just like this. Now, in between the punches, I'm going to time it. And this is what we train our kids. So when the punch comes in, 1, 2, bam, I'm still blocking. But now, my palm is going for the tip of the nose. And then the second one, boom, right there. And that's...
Now, what I wanted to bring out, I was telling Brother Massey, I boxed for years before I got into mixed martial arts. And until you hit somebody in the nose, it's not only a painful thing and a shock, But immediately the eyes begin to water, it affects their vision, it affects their confidence level, because now this guy or lady they've been pushing on has now aggressed me, and now I'm on the defense for the first time. So some of you have probably never even hit anybody before in your life, and that's okay. I hope it never happens. But maybe sometime you can just practice open hand going, because when you hit them, you don't want to play patty cake with them. You're trying to stop him from coming back at you again. So when you protect yourself, you hit with aggression. 1, 2 with aggression. Okay, so he hits me twice.
1, 2. That's going to rock him back because he's not going to expect. So as he's falling back, all we teach also is a push kick. My leg follows up, push, right there.
Let's do that again.
So he goes, I'm here,
gonna do the
1, 2, bam, bam, he comes back, boom, right there. So the push kick is going for a specific target, solar plexus right here. You hit that really hard, that's what knocks the breath out of somebody.
That's right.
And from that point, I'm here, I've got my distance, and I'm going to get out of the situation.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand around and wait for him to get back up.
Okay. Say I'm coming in, and after you do the 2 nose things on me, the 1, 2, I stay close. Mm-hmm. There's another hip connect that you showed me that I think is very important to the students. Say when you hit with the 1, 2, say the bully doesn't back up so that you can get the front leg kick. Say he stays in close. What do you do after that?
I go palm strike, my hands come here, and then I'm already loaded. Bring the knee up, straight into the groin area or to the solar plexus.
Now, that is so important that when you grab him now, you got to get a hold of the material. You got to hurt him. You got to put, when you bring that leg up, you just don't bring it up to touch. Ah! You give it all you got. Yell. Let him know you're confident. Ah! And pull him in. And like the solar plexus, like he said, when you knock the wind out of somebody, usually that's a termination of the fight. So we're going to go through this again because I want you to understand it. I'm going to be throwing wild, winging, non-straight punches, which is what most kids do. He's going to defend himself. The first time I'm going to fall back. The second time I'm going to stay in close. So I want you to watch this. This is your first means of defense. I come in. 1, 2. Right in the solar plexus.
Okay.
So he's defending himself again.
1, 2, pop.
But I stay in close. And you bring them, you grab the material, because you want to let them know that you're not playing with them, you want to hurt them. Wonderful segment. Now let me tell you something I do, and I've always been done, and I was taught by one of my first self-defense instructors, and that is this. If I grab him and pull him in the solar plexus, most of the time I just fling them to the ground because they're tickled to death to get on the ground. Because of embarrassment, pride, and adrenaline, sometimes if you're not careful, by the time you turn around, that individual has got back up and all of a sudden they want round 2 again. You don't want to go round 2. This is a little aggressive, and maybe some of you parents are a little uncomfortable with this, but this is what I do. When I bring it in to the solar plexus and throw them down, I always stomp one of their ankles. And the reason why I do that is if they try to get back up, their leg gives out on them, and they're not able to defend themselves again. And usually that terminates the fight. Anything else in this segment, Brother Massey?
No, sir. That's just the basic strikes that we teach as the first line of defense.
Now, in your expertise, are you more comfortable throwing the front kick, or is it stouter and more effective to pull them in with their clothing?
We always do the knee.
Okay.
Yeah, we always
because
do the knee.
I throw my hip in it more. Mm-hmm. You know, front kick's more pushing out. I just feel like I'm in more control when I bring them down on my hip, you know, across my leg and across my knee. So don't forget now, you put your hands up like this. When you see them throw a punch, most kids are right-handed. Remember that. Most kids are right-handed, so the power punch is going to come to your left side. So you want to move your hands like this, bam, bam, grab his shirt and bring him down. When he falls, stomp his ankle. Fight's over, and good Lord willing, the bullying is over as well. I'll tell you one thing I learned about bullying. If you ever defend yourself and beat one, no other bully in the school or the neighborhood will ever bother you again. So if you have to go to this extreme, I hope it's a one-time thing. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. We got a lot more to show you. Okay, we showed you what to initially do when you come in contact with a bully. How that you defend yourself by putting your hands up and then taking the two flat hands and taking the shots to the face, and then either doing a front kick or grabbing the material of their clothing and flipping them over your knee and kicking them in the solar plexus. We have several more divisions that we want to talk to you about that's very important. Say it continues to escalate, or you find out that you're dealing with a bully that knows a little bit about self-defense himself or herself. So we're going to give you a little more extensive training. First, we're going to do boxing. In the next segment, we're going to do leg kicks. And then in the final segment, we're going to go to the ground and show you wrestling or grappling. Some things you can do if the fight goes to the ground. Over 90% of all fights usually end up on the ground. So first of all, Brother Massey is going to teach us some boxing, some simple techniques, how to defend yourself with your hands. Listen up while Brother Massey gives us some instructions.
Okay, so 4 punches we're going to show, and it's all going to be from your fighting stance. Now, let's talk about the stance. We're going to break down the punches. So when you're in a defensive stance, my heel of my back foot is off the ground. That allows me to pivot my hips. That's where my power is going to come from. A golfer gets his power from his hips.
That's right.
Baseball player, tennis, martial arts. That's where you're going to get your power at. So hands up. Now the reason why we teach the palm strikes in our workshops is because they're not trained enough to know where to punch with the hands. You got knuckles on your hands, 2 of them real small. Most people, when they punch, they don't know to turn that wrist. So instead of punching like this, we teach them to focus on the top 2 knuckles, which are stronger, right there. So when we're punching, we're actually punching here. You notice every time I'm not just doing this. I'm turning here. This is my jab.
See him throwing his hip into the jab?
Now the second thing I'm going to do, and notice, I want you to notice one thing. When I'm throwing my jab, where's my hand? My hand is right here at my face. So as I throw my jab, when I bring my cross, which is my next punch out, this hand comes back here. And notice what I did with my hips. Here, here. Jab, cross. And then the next one we're going to come around with is going to be our hook. The hook can go to the body. The hook can go to the head. But most people will throw a hook this way, which is going to hit those knuckles. When we throw the hook, we come this way. And I'm not doing this, I'm doing this.
Turning those hips.
Coming around.
See?
With my hips. That's where my power is going to be. The 4th punch can be either an uppercut, which an uppercut is designed to catch them underneath the chin. So I'm here. There's my hook. I'm already bent kneed. I'm loaded. I'm going to come up. I'm not going to do this.
Watch the hip. On the leg.
Boom, right there. Coming up. Right here. So when you put them all together, it's jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Elbows in tight. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Right here. Notice where my hands are at. After the jab, my hand comes back. I throw the cross. As I'm throwing the hook, my hand's back here. And as I'm throwing the uppercut, my hand's here. You always have to protect your head.
So you should have one hand on defense constantly.
Always.
When you're throwing one, the other should be protecting.
When I'm teaching this to my juniors, I always give them the visual. You've got big rubber bands around your wrists that are tied to your ears. Springs back.
It's a good idea.
Right here. Now, a 4th punch, another 4th punch, and we train this in our kickboxing team, is 1, 2, 3, another cross. So it's jab, cross, hook, cross. Just two basic combinations.
Okay, so let's go through those again. The first of the two combinations that you throw is a jab, a cross. You'll come back with a hook, and then the uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut.
Now, looking into the camera so you can get this angle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or jab, cross, hook, cross. So I'm always loading that next punch. So if you come right here, where's my weight?
Back on your back leg. See that?
Where's my weight?
Coming off into your front.
Where's my weight?
Coming in your back again.
Drive. Boom.
Then
right
drive
there.
up.
So I'm always setting up that next punch on my stance, just like that.
Okay, so here's what we want to remember. Anytime you're throwing an offense, you should always have a defense. One of your hands should be doing the offense, the other doing the defense. And always remember, the power of your punch is not going to come from your arm. No boxer has ever knocked an opponent out with an arm punch. It's just not going to happen. You got to bring the strength from the lower part of your body. You know, the Bible talks about girding up the loins of your body. That's the strong part of man, is the loin area. And so that's what Brother Massey was showing us. Get off your foot in the back. Don't be flat-footed. And let that power come from your hips. Learn while you're practicing your shots. Learn to stay off your foot. Keep your heel in the air. And learn when you're throwing your shots. Learn how to make your hips move with you. And you'll feel the power coming through your body and out your arm when you're against your opponent, okay? So remember the two. You got your jab, your cross, your hook, your uppercut, or your jab and your cross and your hook and another cross. So remember those two techniques. Practice these. Stop the video when you get done with this segment and practice turning your hips, keeping your back foot off. Remember the first part, covering your head. Hit, grab the clothing, throw them across the knee. Take time, stop the video, and just practice some of this in your living room or basement or outside or wherever you might be. Hey, thank you for watching. We'll be back in a minute. We got 2 more segments. You don't want to miss them. Okay, we just finished showing you different patterns in which you can strike. I hope you've been practicing your straight, your cross, and then you've also got your hook and your uppercut. I hope you shut the video off and practice that. That's how you attack a bully with your hands. Now we're going to show you 2 simple basic kicks. Both of these are not only very powerful and very effective, but most of the time, when you start throwing kicks of this nature with strength and your hip snapping behind it, the fight will end very quickly. So there's 2 kicks Brother Massey is going to show us at this time, and I want you to watch and listen very carefully.
Well, the first one's going to be a snap kick. A snap kick is to the groin area. And when you're doing this kick, you want to have that bag kind of held down. And your foot on this one is going to be pointed. Right there. Knee, pop. So when you're coming through on this kick, your knee comes up first. We call that chambering the kick. Your knee comes up and then extend the foot out. Right there. Right there when you're kicking. The target's going to be the groin area. In an advanced situation, you would use a snap kick when you have somebody leaned forward like in a wrist lock. And you would kick them into the midsection or actually to the head. But for most part, a snap kick is going to come up and you're going straight to the groin area.
Okay, now there's several things I want you to notice on a snap kick. When he comes up, watch his knee come right toward me. See how his knee is coming right toward my face. Then you pop your foot straight, because that's where your power is coming from, is when that knee comes up, it's snapping off the hip. Now, this is important. Watch what happens. Give me one more snap kick. Watch his right leg. It goes right back to where it was before he threw the kick. Notice that again. When he kicks, his right leg goes back. Now, let me tell you why that's important. That's your balance. If you kick with your leg and you don't put it back where it was, you're going to be off balance and you can fall, or if you're attacked, they can get on top of you very easy. In all my years of fighting, and I have fought many a time when I wish I would have heard Brother Massey say, the best fight you'll ever win is the one you walk away from. Would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of scars, and a lot of sore muscles and some bad nights. But if it comes to this and you have to be aggressive and you have to defend yourself, I have never been in a fight where a grown kick was done properly that the fight continued. If you will do this kick properly, this will end the fight. Now, one thing I wanted you to notice, if he's in a stance and I'm kicking him, get in a stance. Now watch this, I want you to see this. When you go to throw your kick, look at his groin area. It goes up between his legs like a V. So even if you don't hit right in the middle of the groin at first, your foot will ride up his leg and eventually reach that same area, because his legs are basically funneling it that way anyhow. So don't worry about whether you're 100% right in the middle. Just throw it out and snap it, and your foot will ride right up his thigh, the inside of his thigh, and will go right into the groin area. And if there's any manhood about him at all, this fight's over with. But there's another kick that's very effective that he will also remember for a long, long time if you throw it properly. And I want Brother Massey to tell us about this kick.
Okay, so let me have you turn this way for me right here. Okay, so when we teach a workshop, we got to understand that the student that we're teaching to may not have the flexibility or the technique at that point in time. So we teach everything below the waist. Snap kick to the groin. And then we're going to do a round kick. And we're going to do it to the side of the knee. Number one, you take their knee out. It's going to buckle their leg.
Absolutely.
They're going to go to the ground. It's going to have, it might hurt them. I don't think you're going to injure them permanently, but it's going to stop the fight. And the way we teach this is step in the direction that I'm kicking. And then once again, my hips are going to come around. And I'm kicking with more of my shin than anything.
Emphasize that.
And when I come around, you'll notice that my hips will whip. So I come around.
Which is the power of your kick. Without any hip, you have no power. You're just pushing on them.
And I'm not kicking hard.
No.
I'm just whipping my leg.
Now, watch what else he's doing. You cannot forget what I'm about to show you. Watch him when he kicks me again. Watch. Look at his hands. They're up against his face. You never stop protecting your head. Watch it when he throws the kick. You don't idly let your hands go down by your side. Hand up constantly. Every time you throw offense, you've got to have defense.
Exactly.
So I want you to practice these two kicks, not on somebody. Let me reemphasize. We are not accountable for any kind of insurance claims that may happen as a result of this video. But take this opportunity and learn that front kick. Bring it up the knee toward the face of the individual you're having the confrontation with, and then snap your foot out. And then coming around the roundhouse, and what you want to do is, Brother Massey said, is you want to hit this knee. Because what it does is kind of like a branch that's tight, and you're superimposing the knee is actually what you're doing. And the opponent has no alternative but to go to the ground. And that's going to lead us into our next and our final segment. What do you do when a fight goes to the ground? We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, this is the last segment of our first video on anti-bullying. We've showed you how to defend yourself with your hands. We've showed you how to defend yourself with your feet. Now we're going to show you what do you do when you go to the ground. Statistics prove that 90% of all amateur fights wind up on the ground. So if you find yourself on the ground, what do you do to protect yourself and again to conclude the situation that you found yourself in? What I'm going to do right now with Brother Massey is I'm going to act as if I have addressed him and knocked him down to the ground. So now I've knocked Brother Massey down to the ground. Now, Brother Massey, you're down, I'm still up. So what? I'm the bully. So what are you going to do now? I've got the upper hand on you, it seems like.
Absolutely. Well, at Stryker, we have a couple of ground principles. Ground principle number 1 states, if you go to the ground, get up. You don't want to be here. Ground principle number 2 says, make distance as you're getting up. So, I'm not crossing my feet like this. My feet are going to be side to side. My hands up. I'm posted up on my hand back here. If the attacker steps in, I'm going to come up. I'm going to strike to the knee, which is going to step them back. And then at that point in time, this hand comes back. I scoot back, stand up. Now look at the distance.
Right.
So I have created distance from my attacker. The whole time, look where my hands were at.
Right.
My hands were up. I stayed in eye contact with him, and I knew exactly what was going on.
Okay, so let's do this again.
Okay.
So I'm the bully. I've got aggressive, and I've hit him, and I've knocked him down. Now, I think I've got the upper hand, so I'm going to move in on him. And when I come in,
strike.
Now, I want you to notice the thing about the strike. I don't know if you know how powerful this can be. He's posting on his hand, plus he's got the movement of the hip. So you're talking double power. If you had to, and I'm not really recommending this, you could superimpose this knee to the point where there could be some damage done. So you got to be careful on how bad you want to hurt the opponent. But watch where Brother Massey puts his foot when I make the move in on him. Now I think I've got the upper hand. I'm coming in. Now watch. See that? I have no choice. I either go back or it's going to break my knee. That's the only alternative I got, because it's kind of semi-sideways on my knee. As I'm traveling back, he pivots his second hand on the mat, spins his hip up to one knee. Now we're right back where we started, which means he has no advantage on me at all. So now we can start being aggressive again with our boxing if we have to. But 90% of all amateur fights will go to the ground at one time or another. When you watch fights, or if you've ever been involved in a fight, you know one of the dangerous positions is to be on the bottom with somebody on top of you of what we call full mount. Now Brother Massey's going to be on the bottom. I'm the bully. I've knocked him down now. He's on his back. I've got beside his hips, I've got in front of him, and I'm going to be setting on his chest. And we call this a full mount, is basically the terminology. When you're in the full mount, to be honest, to some degree, you now have the upper hand of the fight, because I can control raining down on him. Now watch, he can fight back on me, but he has no power in his hips. His hips are flat. So the only thing he can hit me with really is the strength of his arm, which is very weak in comparison. But he is going to be trying to block me. I'm raining down on him. And all the time, you see what he's doing with his hands? Remember point number 1 in our first session? Constantly protect your head. So all the time that I'm on top of him, I'm raining down, he's protecting his head. Now I think, again, I've got the upper hand of this fight. Watch what he can do from the bottom.
So from here, as he's throwing down, I do have my hips and my knee. So when this hand comes down,
Watch
I'm
this.
going to bump. I've got him here. I'm going to come across, trap the arm, and then I'm just going to work my way around.
Now, he is on the top position. I'm on the bottom. Now, I'm the bully. So now he has the power in his hips and his hand to rain down on me. Though he's not on my chest, he still clearly has the advantage of me, and the advantage to put strikes on me that could knock me out very quickly. So he's in what you call a full mount. Now, even though I'm weaker and I'm on the bottom, to some degree I can control him. When he's throwing punches at me, I can do the same thing he did. I can block. I can move my legs up his hips into his back, and I can even pull him down to me, which would keep him from being able to strike me with any kind of force or any kind of power. So what he wants to do, even though he's in more of the positive position, he wants to get out of this mount and better secure his place on a bully. This is a technique I've used, I know, at least 10 times in fighting since Brother Massey and Brother Siegler showed me this years ago. Now watch what he's going to do to get out of this position where I'm controlling him. Brother Massey, tell me how to get out.
You have me in your guard at this point in time.
That's correct.
Okay, so you had me in you had a mount on me.
Correct.
I did a reversal.
Right.
I ended up in your guard. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a wide base, which is my posture. I'm going to control the hips. I'm going to slide the knee to the center of the bottom. Slide my other knee back.
Now, this is so important that you watch this.
I'm controlling the leg. I got 2 points of contact from here. I got the leg and I've got the hip.
And I'm helpless. I mean, I can't move off the ground right now.
Okay? From this point in time, I'm going to take this leg, slide it over. Okay? I've got his leg trapped with my foot. Reach across. I'm going to grab a point of contact here, put some pressure down, cross my ankles to trap his leg.
See, I cannot move that leg. My hip is restricted and my leg is nailed to the floor.
As I moved my other leg off of his leg where my ankles were crossed, I still have his leg trapped. That way, this leg can't put me in what's called a half guard.
That's correct.
So I'm still in control. From this point in time, this arm's going to come under the head.
Notice his legs come around.
Now, I am in full side mount.
I want you to see this.
One knee is on the hip, one knee is under the armpit.
And both of them, he's driving into me because he's keeping me. See, when he's got both his hips, I can't do anything to get away from him because his knees are driven so far and so tight into me that basically I got to lay here. And this is where this gets sweet. Watch this.
Okay, so from here, this hand's going to come under the head, and his arm is either going to be here or here. Most likely, he's going to go here, and I'm going to trap his arm. When he starts pushing up on my head, I'm going to come around, put this arm to the ground, and all I'm going to do is tap.
You can't take it because once he gets the leverage of the arm under here and pushes down on the wrist, if you do not tap, what it does is it totally dislocates the shoulder. It will pop the shoulder literally out of the socket because of the leverage that he's putting on. So with him laying down, I want to show you something again that he showed you that's so important. When you're moving out of the guard, you have got to keep your knees up against him. If you give him any room at all and he knows anything about wrestling, he's coming right back on me, see? He's going to throw me back in the guard again. So the way I keep from that happening is I keep both my knees locked into here. Now, I'm left-handed. I do the same technique, but a little different. I grab the wrist and throw it out, go behind his head, and go here, and grab my other hand and just pick up. And at the same time, though it's the opposite way, it'll still dislocate the shoulder. So remember, you can pivot on your hip at any time. If you do go to the bottom, don't panic. I want him to show us one more time. I'm mounting him. I'm raining down. Watch how easy he tosses me. And by the way, you can fight it with everything you've got. Once the hip and the knee comes up behind me and he's pulled me down to him and he's locked my arm, there's absolutely nothing I can do. So watch this again. I'm on the full mount. I'm raining down on him, okay? He locks my arm, pulls me down. Now watch his hip and see, there's nothing. And it's that fast. And there's absolutely nothing I can do to stop it. So practice this with some of your community and your friends that we were talking about, because this is one of the most effective holds that you'll ever find on the ground. Hey, in just a minute, I'm going to come back to show you a little bit of bagging and Dr. Keene in action in the gym. And I hope you've enjoyed Brother Massey being with us. I love you. You're a great trainer and a great friend and a great brother. Thank you for watching our video. We'll be back in a minute. God bless you. Hey, thank you for watching the video. I hope it's been an encouragement and enlightenment to you should conflict ever come your way. Some of the people that wanted to order this video wanted to see Dr. Kidd sparring. So this is my sparring partner from the day. And I want to show you some importance about boxing. These are boxing gloves that I wore in the ring for 3 years when I was boxing. But it's important to know when you're punching the head where you hit them to be most effective. There's two basic places on the head that will cause somebody to pass out because or due to a punch. In the middle of the chin, you have something called a button there. If you make contact on either side of that button, what it does is it twists the skull so that the vertebrae at the top of what we call the axis of the neck, it twists and sends a neurological charge to the brain, and they black out and they pass out. So it doesn't matter whether you're punching from the left or punching from the right. If you can get a good lick on either side of that button, just like that, you set it up with your jab. I'm left-handed, so I'm jabbing with my right. I set it up, I move to the side, one punch like that, and his lights are out. You also have something on either side of the top of your skull, more to the top, which is called the temple of the head. You have one located here, and you have one located there. When you hit the temple, what makes a person pass out then is you have so jarred the brain that it has went into chaos and emergency mode and shuts down. So if you can't get a clear shot at the chin, maybe they got a short neck, or maybe they got a long reach and you can't get in that far to throw your power punch. What you can do is work your way in with your jab, get off to the side. You don't have to be in front of him. Walk left and right to his side. Don't be a standing opponent. Move your head. Keep your hands up. Jab right to the temple. One punch and he's out. Jab, move my head up and down to the temple. One punch to the temple and he's out. So remember, either side of the button or either side of the temple will knock the opponent out. You jab with your right. I'm left-handed, of course. You'll jab with your left if you're right-handed. This keeps your opponent off balance, and it's a measuring stick to know how far away you are. Now I'm going to knock him out in just a minute. Watch. 2 jabs and a cross. I'm going to do a temple shot. 2 jabs and a temple. That's how you knock him out. Remember the front kick to the solar plexus that Brother Massey showed us, which will be about right here in the lower part of this diagram. You can go in and work your way with the jab. He thinks you're going to punch. You back out and kick. Jab, back out, kick. So you can also use your feet in the process. Hey, we're running out of time. Been a joy to be with you. By the way, Buttercup, get off the couch. I'll meet you in the ring anytime. God bless you.